Hello, everyone. Here we are again in our podcast, our broadcast, and I have the pleasure to have here my friend DJ, the DJ Amar All,
Yep.
who is also based in London as well, like me. And yeah, so he'll be talking about his work, his experience, in very interesting. And yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. Yeah, so welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, Rodriguez, for having me. And yeah, let's talk about music and whatever you want to talk.
Great stuff. No, yeah, well, I mean, we could spend here probably a long time talk about not only music, because I know you also love movies, as I can see there in your background, and other good stuff as well. But talk
Yep.
about music. We know that you have been a work as a DJ in the UK, more specifically London. And how long have you been working as a DJ?
More serious 10 years. As a DJ, think 14 years, but more serious 10 years, the last 10 years.
Wow, it's a
I
while
think
now.
one of the big twists was during the World Cup and here in London, where I was happy to do the open and the close ceremony. So the open was in Rich Mix, which is in East London, and and then bricks come together at the close ceremony.
Oh, nice one. Okay, didn't know that.
Mhm.
That's great stuff. So all of that we should probably after the episode we can put as well all this information text. But so you've been working for a while now, as I can see as a DJ. And what made you choose this journey as a DJ? What really motivated you to go through this path?
Well, as you said, like I like movies and like production, like events, and I'm always the one who come and set up the event and bring music. So many times we start to warm up parties and then we start to organize, and of course they need a DJ, so yeah, we carry on.
Good stuff. Yeah, and I think it's actually, and I remember because we've known each other for a while now, and I remember you always being very musical, of course, into movies. Loads of on those times we used to have like DVDs and CDs, like
Mhm.
many cases, and I remember you have like box of cases of DVDs and CDs, and I remember that. So a lot of interesting music, and I actually forgot to mention to everyone. So I'm not sure if you can see. So this background here is his logo, and it's easy to identify on his Instagram and digital platforms. You will identify DJ Amaral logo, which is yeah, probably cannot see that well, but you
Yeah.
have great stuff.
Later on, you put on the comments like how people can find me on Instagram.
Absolutely, that's
Yeah.
we'll do that. All right, so great stuff. So music is one of your passions, and obviously that's why you've been working as a DJ, and that's the reason why having music as one of your passions. And but what did what really did inspire you to go through to select? Let's say, let me just reformulate the question here. Um, what does inspire you to select your or create your material? What does really made you turn on to really choose the material, the music, the tunes? What does inspire you to select it?
If you start from my description, I always call myself as an Anglo Brazilian DJ, right? I've been here for over 20 years. And even when I play for like big Brazilian parties, like World Cup for the Brazilian Embassy, some big parties, I try to bring a bit of the experience we had as a expat, right?
Mhm.
Um, and also my background with like cinema, that which I like. I see a DJ as a storytelling. So is, of course, you're there to entertain people, but is to tell a story, and create a mood from the beginning to the end.
And that's interesting. And I think if you allow me to share my thoughts as well, I think it's interesting you said that Anglo-Brazilian type of the culture or vibes. And I think in my view, you probably might agree as well, but I can see music is a strong link between Brazil and the UK. In the UK, as we know, people love music as well, good music. They're very open and receptive to learn more about different cultures and via music. You know, it's unquestionable that loads of good stuff happening in the UK, particularly with the music. And I also think, as probably, you know, Brazil's got probably one of our best things, I would say, is music, the diversity of the music. And I think actually being a DJ, a Brazilian DJ in the UK, have been living there for over 20 years, it does give you a unique kind of, I don't know, feature, isn't it? So interesting, this link between this bridge, this cultural bridge between UK and Brazil via music. That's interesting.
There's something else I want to add because I'm very interested in artists and cultural events. So I end up playing like in very renowned cultural institutions like MoMA, Centre Pompidou in Paris, and Serpentine Gallery here in London, you know, Richmond Artists and Ideas. And I like the fact that um, as a DJ, of course, you, as I said before, you want to entertain, but you want to touch people. So as a moment also to kind of play with the mood, right? Because when you go in an art gallery or in a festival, you know, there's people from different backgrounds, different ages, and then I like to set the tone, you know, for the event and of course for the party. So if people up to make some moves.
It kind of links to what I was thinking, perhaps to talk with you, and perhaps we might be able to explore, is so talk about music. What kind of music is your cup of tea? Are you also open to explore a new type of music, new rhythms? So what's your kind of music? What's the cup of tea, if I can say that?
Yeah, I'm well, I live in London. It's a very big city. You know, I'm from São Paulo, so somehow the electronic scene is always was always curious about, and I like to I can be a bit nostalgic. You know, I remember like my parents listened to radio, my mom played piano, so I like to blend this kind of very traditional, some somehow old-fashioned roots with a bit more modern beats, right? So I can explain like that.
So yeah, it's interesting parallel because basically, you know, you're from a big city as well, like São
Mm.
Paulo, where I can imagine that there is a very vibrant music scene as well, including electronic DJ. And then living in London, it's a nice parallel, isn't it? That you can see both context and link again, I suppose. That's interesting.
Yeah, there's a duet, it's a French duet. It's called Polypon. I really like because they're very subtle the way they play with electronic, you know, um, and also they use this kind of old-fashioned music. So we sometimes look like they make take music from Walt Disney or some kind of, you know, um, movies and put together. And I think it's a nice patch.
Cool. And so, talk within this context, is there any specific artists or musicians or a DJ, for example, who motivates you, who inspire you, who is a good model or role model, if you can say that, to your work, to your material? Is there musicians or DJ as well, if you can perhaps,
There's
if you had.
there's a DJ. He's a DJ and producer. He's called El Buho. He's from UK. He's very into Latin America, especially like Peru. So he's bringing like the traditional flutes and stuff. And also in London, I'm in charge. I'm one of the organizers of the Samba de Raiz UK, which leads me to understand a bit more about Brazilian culture, right? And I'm studying a bit more about Umbanda because, in a way, I want to do what he does with the Peruvian music for the ants, but with more Afro religion music, Brazilian music.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, so for those who don't know, I mean, it's always good to reinforce. This event, right? The Samba de Raiz is quite a well-known event, and it's becoming bigger and bigger. So you are one of the organizers of you are collaborating there as well, right? So that's cool.
Yeah,
Nice
and time to time I play on the as a DJ.
nice one. Okay, that's
Yeah,
really
it's quite big event. So sometimes we are so
yeah,
busy. There's and also we invite some people to DJ. But I'm one of the organizer part of the team.
that's cool. And I think if you allow me to share as well a thought, because I think it's very interesting because basically we're talking about your work as a DJ and essentially as well culture, isn't it? And then you explain something which is very interesting that I wasn't aware of, that you've been how can I say researching and getting more familiar with the African influence in our music, right? Because basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my feeling as well. I think our Brazilian music and Brazilian culture is strongly influenced by the African culture. And it's probably Brazil is probably the most African place outside Africa in many ways. And music is an expression of that. And you can see the whole swing and the whole move.
Also, when I start to play more in festivals, and one thing really blow my mind is the Afro house.
Okay.
Because before I wasn't really touched by the house music, but
Mhm.
when I start to play and share the stage with some big names, and I see some people play the Afro house, like wow, that's good. It brings a bit back the electronic that I like it, and then the roots. So if you take, there's a Brazilian band, it's called Cinco Anos. They're quite big in Brazil, and the music is so rich and powerful. That's because now there's a generation of DJs doing a lot of edits, remix, but I think they don't need it. The music is so powerful. It really is really
Interesting.
intense, you know.
No, interesting. No, it's good to know that. I mean, I've been learning now from that, and I think this whole mix, in Brazil, got so many like Chico Science, for example, mixing, and is an amazing kind of. I think it's unique as well, and also, for example, Sepultura, for example, I know it's metal, but they really incorporate a lot of elements from the African Brazilian rhythms in the metal.
And some indigenous as well.
Exactly. As well, yeah, exactly. So the same with Chic Science, they put some indigenous kind of rhythms with African, which is very Brazilian way, and interesting. So it's all very informative.
Yeah,
Um,
because we both live in the UK, and we both luck to be exposed to these two nations, like really, really good in music in so many ways. You know?
I think so because when we were there and then we moved the UK, a lot of things we probably didn't know about the music. I learned a lot as well, and I think your work in a way is actually to bring more awareness as well, perhaps to what we have in Brazil that it's not really exposed in full to the UK audience. I mean, when I say UK, includes the British, but also many other people from everywhere, really, because London's such a melting pot, isn't it? So it's interesting. Um, but talk about your work, and you've been working as a DJ for a while now. If I can ask that, probably it's quite an unfair question, but do you know perhaps if you got some memorable gigs? What was your most memorable gigs, or maybe one or two that it was like, wow, I remember that one. Do you have that, or it's hard to list, I suppose?
Well, I had one in Barcelona. First time I went there. The day before I was playing Ibiza, which is a quite big for a DJ. Like you go to Ibiza and play, and so I was super happy already. But in Barcelona was a festival, like a visual festival. It's quite big in visuals, and well, as a DJ, right? You want to do your best, but you still the festival is still like a visual. So I do respect. Like, um, for some reason they delay my performance, And when I was playing, and I realized I was in the main stage, I was closing the festival, you know. I said, I look back and I saw the visuals. I was like, oh, I recognized the visual. It was the main guy, the guy who runs the festival. He was doing the visuals, and I was closing. And I'm a very emotional person. I was crying, super happy, and you know. And I just remember finishing, and then it's like, oh, cool, you know. And he left. He walked in my direction, come to the stage. He you know, gave me a tap on my back, and he said to me, "See you next year." So like, I did well. He was Brazilian as well, and he said in Portuguese to me, "Seu som é selva." It's like your music is wild, something like this, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a nice expression. Your music is wild. Yeah, it's jungle, but it's kind of wild. Yeah, selva. Nice one.
I want to mention two more. I did one event from the it's a radio station in France, Le Mellotron, which is very difficult to get a gig there. I managed to get. See, nowadays we are so used with YouTube and streaming, but it was so sweet because I was played. They have literally a bar, and they have a radio. Every hour there's a new DJ come and play, so people from the street can just walk in. You know, they don't charge, but also because they stream you, so you can just being silly, like send a link to your friends, to your mom. And actually, my mom was online, and she was happy to kind of follow because she lives in Brazil. She cannot come to see me like maybe once a year. And another one was Amnesty. What's the name of the Amnesty International? Sorry about.
Oh, really?
It was an event in East London for indigenous people, right?
Nice. Okay.
And they set up in a church, and all the beautiful lights coming from the windows and the acoustic. So it was memorable. It was very, very emotional as well.
Well, interesting. Yeah, and hopefully we can always have this experience in the next gigs that keep us updated. And so I can see you London is your basis, but you are everywhere really. So you do play outside London, of course, not only outside the UK as well, as I can see. So you got
I did Germany, I did France, I did Italy, I did Spain, I did a few places around. Yeah.
It's cool. But look, I mean, our DJ, I always like to say Amaral, but it's Amar All, which is a nice combo, really, which loves everyone. It's nice. But look, I mean, it's been a pleasure to have you here. You know, we haven't seen each other for a while in person, but hopefully we can meet up very soon. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for sharing your experience as a DJ. Talk about your work, your passion, and all this information we're going to share with everyone who will watch and listen to this episode on YouTube and also Spotify. And if you want to share any more words to everyone, just feel free.
I just want to mention again Chico Science. You mentioned is a big inspiration for me, and also he was a master of playing around with the electronics and the organic, in a very nice way. So he's one of my favorites. I play time to time. Well, and big up, and thanks for inviting me. And if you're feeling the vibe, let me know your thoughts when you know. And absolutely. Then my Instagram is DJ_Amar_All. Gonna be on the link.
I'll put in the description. Absolutely. You know what? Talk to you now. It kind of inspired me to, after this episode here, to listen to Chico Science, because basically, being someone from Recife like I am, I actually lived that as we call the Mangue Beat movement in 1992, 1993, 1994. And I think they are amazing. I still listen to them like I was listening back in time. And yeah, interesting that I can see that, and hopefully the next gigs that you play, I will join, and then never know, play some Chico Science for everyone as well. That's cool. That's cool. Well, look, thanks so much for your time, and we speak soon, and much love.
Okay, success.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.